Okay, our recess is over, and the meeting of the Board of Education is called to order here on the 9th day of January 2022. Hope everyone had a absolutely wonderful Christmas and holiday season with family and friends. And we want to thank Granite Falls Middle School and Mr. Ackerman for allowing us to meet here tonight. There's some work being done at the Education Center, and so we need to find another place. This is a great place to meet, and this is such a beautiful room after the renovations being done. Now, Mr. Ackerman has indicated to me that the PTA is going to be doing some other things that will enhance it even more, but it's a beautiful school. So we're very appreciative of all of the hospitality that Mr. Ackerman and the staff here have shown us tonight. First item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. We have two students from Caldwell School. The CCN Coffee parents are Amy and Chris Coffee, and Trinity Ellison parents are Ryan Ellison and Barbara Williams. Are they here? If you'll just come down to the front, we have the flag here. If you'll lead us, please.
Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank both of you for being here tonight with us and leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Next item is the invitation for the board, and I'm going to call on fellow board member Mrs. Ann Edwards.
Thank you, Chairman. Good evening. Can you hear me? Is my voice loud enough for everybody? Good evening. As I think about an invitation for tonight, I'm reminded that we each experience the joys and the blessings that were available to us in December. And having arrived at January 2023, I think of the public schools as being a place where we have fresh starts, and I love fresh starts, and I love new beginnings, and I love it is a beginning that can continue to move us forward. And so I paused in thinking about this and said, I want to consider it the new year, and I ask you, what is it you value? I have a friend on the board, Teresa Brandt. She from time to time shares wonderful books with me. Thank you, Teresa. I'll give you a plug for that. And I share them here and there in Rhonda. My first love in public education was to teach reading. And I love reading, and in looking at this book, what happens in this book, and I won't read the whole thing, although I'd like to, is that Carl in this book is running around asking, what are we doing and why do we do it? Now these animals, Teresa, you read it, I'm sure, are a mouse, a rabbit, a squirrel, a fox, a ground beetle, and they're all connected to the earthworm. And what we learn from this beautiful book is, how can someone so small like the earthworm make such a big difference? And so as I ask you to think about Carl, he's the earthworm, and the meaning of life, and you look at what you value, I ask you to consider that in public education, just like these animals, who are interconnected, but they each have a job, their job is important, and it makes a difference to the sum of the whole. And so, in public education, it is true. We each have a different job. We each have a different obligation. But it is because We are committing Caldwell County to the sum of the whole that we have hopes and dreams we have with these young people sitting in this room tonight and working all across Caldwell County. So if you'll join me in a moment of reflection, I would just ask you to pause and think about what is it you've done.
Thank you, Mrs. Edwards. Next item on our agenda is the approval of the agenda, which the board has had several days to review. Do I hear a motion that we approve the agenda as presented?
I move that we approve the agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And motion passes. Next, we have 3 meetings in December, and we need to approve the minutes of those meetings. They are on your agenda, Board 6B, which is our December 6, 2022 work sessions meeting, and on December 9, 2022, our special sessions meeting, and then our regular meeting, which was on December the 12th, 2022. Do I hear a motion that we approve all the minutes from 6B through 6D?
Chairman Kimball, I move that we approve the minutes, items 6D to 6D.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is announcements, and I want to recognize Mr. Joe Sims.
Thank you, Chairman Kimball. So first, I've already went and done it, but thanks again to the students from college for the drive down, because you had a little haul. You crossed the county tonight to come say the pledge, and I appreciate you doing that. But my other announcements, January 16th, celebration of Martin Luther King Day, and then we have a professional development day on January 27th. Those are our future meetings. We have a training which we're required to do as a board member during our term, an ethics training. So we're having that on January 18th at 10 a.m. January 24th, we have a school visit scheduled for Lower Creek, William Lenore, High Brighton High School, and Happy Valley. Then on February the 7th will be our next board work session at 8 a.m. And then our next board scheduled meeting is February 13th. So I appreciate you coming out to our meeting tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Sims. Dr. Phipps, you have some announcements as well.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. The graduation dates, I just wanted to officially allow you to put on the calendar. We've had these now. May the 11th will be our early college high school graduation. May the 19th will be CASA's graduation. And May the 25th, we're going to have all 3 high schools will be graduating at the same time at 7 p.m. So we want to make sure that you're aware of that. I want to thank everyone who's had a role, played a hand in our start back to the second semester. You all are aware that we're back from all of our breaks, and we're hopefully back into the flow of what happens in the second semester. Off to a great start, and we're just grateful that we have the support that's there. The transfer period window has opened. It will be open until the 15th of February. Is that right, Libby? Or the end of February? We've got that on the website, the end of February. Anyone who's currently on a transfer, we ask you to fill that paperwork out. Anyone who would like to request a transfer, we ask you to fill that out. That just allows us to keep a record of where students are coming from and where they're going. There's not any changes there. We'll make a note of any of our schools that are closed for transfer due to capacity, and that'll be on the website as well. But all of that information is out, and we want to make sure that folks take part in that. And then we have some information on the school calendar for next year. Don't normally ask folks to stick around, but this may be of interest, and we have calendar on the agenda. So we're going to be doing some things with our school calendar for next year when we get to that here in just a few minutes. So I'll be sharing a little bit more about that in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Dr. Phipps. Next, we have some individuals, some students that we want to recognize. And for this portion of the agenda, I'd like to call Mrs. Libby Brown, Director of Community Relations, to come up. And when your name is called, you'll come up here and receive your award.
Good evening. Good evening to Chairman Pennell, Vice Chairman Becker, Dr. Phipps, the board members, and good evening to everyone here at Grand Falls Middle. I must say this is a wonderful facility, Mr. Ackerman, and the auditorium has just turned out beautifully. So it's a pleasure to be here this evening in this preserved part of your new school. We have the opportunity to recognize some outstanding achievements within our students that we have in the Caldwell County Schools and our staff cadre. And this is always a special moment for the Board of Education. We're going to start with our character education program. And this is something that we value and hold in high esteem in the Caldwell County Schools. Students from the elementary, middle, and high school level are selected for particular character traits for the month, and they are going to represent the elementary, middle, and high school level. This month, we are recognizing those students who have exemplified the character trait of service. And what a great trait to be identified by teachers and peers as having the ability to recognize needs outside of your own and want to help and give service. So as we call your name, please come forward, and we'd like to give you a medallion and a certificate of appreciation. We're going to start at the elementary level. Madeline Tomberlin. And Madeline is from Hudson Elementary School. Madeline Tomberlin and Monica Martin, we want to see you. Come on up here. You don't have to do it. We're very proud of you. And here comes your principal to stand with you because she's very proud of you too. At the middle school level, we have Nevaeh Miller. And Nevaeh is from Collinsville School, and Jill Pittman is her principal. And Brent Herman. Brett Herman. Brett is from CASA, Caldwell Applied Sciences Academy, a senior. And Chris Green is his principal, but he could not be here this evening. He is under the weather. So we have all three of you here. We have our first grader from Hudson Elementary School, seventh grader from College School, and our senior from CASA. Three outstanding students that exemplify service in our community. So we're very, very proud of them.
Mrs. Edwards and Mr. Ford, y'all go stand with the other three on the opposite side. We'll move back. balance just a little bit. There are three of us, you guys lost my numbers.
And I'm going to tell parents, feel free to take pictures. If I don't have a- We are also very proud of some of our outstanding teachers in the Caldwell County School System. This year, it's always a privilege to recognize those teachers who have received and earned national board certification. Recently, 4 of our teachers have been notified that they are national board certified teachers now. We're extremely proud of these teachers who worked beyond their assigned scope of duties and responsibilities to reach this prestigious achievement that can take years to complete. So as I call your name, please join us on stage. Marcia Kinley, she's our AP here at Granite Falls Middle School, so congratulations. Chris Ackerman, you want to join her on stage? And we're very proud of her. Kayla Pittman. Kayla is here from Davenport A+ School. Congratulations. I don't see Miss Jessica Anthony, her principal. Kayla Pittman. Yes. And you see Dr. Pitts holding this star. We like to adorn their doors with that iconic star to let everyone know they have reached national board certification. Amanda Tribbett. Amanda is at Sawmills Elementary School, and Judy Fry is her principal. And our 4th teacher is Meredith Watson. Meredith is from High Rise High School, and her principal is Courtney Wright. So as they're coming up, I also want to invite Heather Poole to join them. Heather is our beginning teacher mentor, and she's also our National Board Certified Coordinator here in not just Caldwell County, but she helps teachers throughout the region. We in Caldwell County now have 288 teachers who have become National Board Certified while serving in the Caldwell County schools. And that is an impressive number, and these 4 have added to that number. And we're very proud of all of them. So let's give them a congratulations. I know that took a lot of work. We have a special presentation now for the Caldwell County Health Director, Anna Martin. And Dr. Bridger, would you like to come up and say a few words?
Chairman Fennell, Vice Chair, Becker, members of the board, Dr. Phipps, I just wanted to take a moment to recognize Anna Martin, our health director, and her excellent work that she's done with our school system over the past several years. As we reflect back to March of 2019, we got a call, I believe it was a Sunday afternoon, Dr. Phipps, that we were going to be canceling school and moving forward because of the alpha virus that's coming our way is COVID-19, is what we refer to that to begin with. We had to begin making some decisions as to how we were going to continue to progress with our employees and our students. And from the get-go, our health director, Anna Martin, was by our side, advising us, trying to assist us, trying to make sure that we were doing things that were in the best interest of our students and of our staff. We really didn't know, and I don't know that we have all the answers even today, but she was always guiding and allowing us to operate and work to the best of our ability with something that we were trying to deal with throughout this time frame. Over the past 3 years, from 2019, we have processed over 2,300 leaves in Caldwell County Schools just from our employees from COVID, either through quarantines or individuals actually contracting the virus. But 2,300 people have been affected within our school system. That's a lot of time and a lot of resources. We were required to follow what we refer to in our employer's handbook, policy 9.4, which is contagious disease. And it reads essentially that the director of the county health department, in order to control the spread of contagious disease or to protect the health of an employee, orders an employer to leave his or her work environment, and that's at the recognition and discretion of the superintendent. Anna allowed us to apply this policy and allowed her nurses to act on her behalf so that she didn't have to make all 2,300 decisions versus every leave, and allowed us to continue to operate. I have spoken with other HR directors or assistant superintendents across the state of North Carolina, and some of them really and truly have some horror stories and the partnership that they have with our health director. We didn't. We were fortunate from the get-go. He gave us good advice, the best that you could come up with during those times. And I just wanted to do something very, very special to say thank you on behalf of the school board. Thank you on behalf of our employees and our students at Caldwell County Schools. You enabled us to come to work. You enabled us to work to the very best of our ability through this situation, and we're grateful. So we have a plaque for you here that we would like to present to you. And this just says Caldwell County Schools, presented to Anna Martin in recognition of exemplary leadership and support and partnership with Caldwell County Health Department, January 9th, 2023. Thank you.
It's been a whirlwind. From day one to even now, we didn't really know what we were working with, but I do thank you for your leadership, for those hard decisions, for Dr. Phipps. It's been time. I do appreciate everybody. But with all this, it takes a team. So this is the entire health department. They've always had my back, and I've always had their back. And with that, it takes a village. So thank you so much for all of you.
Just as we recognize some of our outstanding teachers who have participated in a national program to broaden their teaching skills, Board of Education members also are involved in training of school boardmanship and attend classes that assist them in their role as effective Board of Education members. So we do have some certificates we would like to present. I'm going to have to read them. Sorry. No, I'm not. I've got a list. I'm sorry. Okay, so we would really like to recognize that not everyone will be recognized because we have a few of our newest board members who have not had that opportunity, but you will have the opportunity to receive training and statewide education about how to effectively serve on the Board of Education. So we will start with Ann Edwards. And she receives a Certificate of Advanced Achievement. So congratulations to Ms. Ann Edwards, our Board of Education. Mr. Chris Becker. That's right. You can give yourself a certificate. You have a Certificate of Merit, and these are through the North Carolina School Boards Association Academy for School Boardmanship. So let's give Mr. Becker a big round. And Mr. Darrell Pennell, our chairman. Darrell receives the Scholars Circle, and we're very proud of him. And he's also serving as our president of the North Carolina School Boards Association, so congratulations on both accounts. And Mr. Joe Sims. Joe Sims, our board member, receives a Certificate of Advanced Achievement. So we're very proud of Mr. Sims. And Mrs. Teresa Branch. So Mrs. Branch will come forward. She also will receive a Certificate of Advanced Achievement from the North Carolina School Board Association. Work very hard behind the scenes, and there's lots of hours that they dedicate and commit to these types of trainings, and we appreciate what you do. So thank you very much. Congratulations.
Now we're getting ready to go into our business session. We don't think it'll be very lengthy, but if you choose to leave, now would be an appropriate time. And then again, you might want to stick around for the, what Dr. Tips indicated earlier in regards to the calendar. But anyway, now would be an appropriate time. And again, thank you so much for being here this evening. Okay, we're going to continue on with the agenda. I'd like to recognize Dr. Bill Griffin, Assistant Superintendent for Human Resource Services.
Chairman Pennell, Vice Chair Becker, members of the board, Dr. Fitz, I have several items for you this evening. The first that we have A, human resources, usual and customary informational items. These do not require any action, just for your information at this time. The human resources, usual and customary action items is our contracts. I respectfully request a motion to approve human resources, usual and customary action items contracts as presented this evening.
Do I hear a motion that we approve the human resource services usual and customary action items as it relates to contracts?
I make a motion we approve, 8B, human resources, usual and customary action items, contracts.
Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you very much. Item C, human resources, usual and customary personnel action items is our substitute list. I'm grateful to say that we are continuing to add more and more substitutes to our list each and every month. I respectfully request a motion to approve human resources, usual and customary action items, our substitute list as presented this evening.
Is there a motion to approve the human resource services usual and customary action items as it relates to the substitute list as presented by Dr. Griffin?
I move that we approve the substitute list as presented, and I'm delighted to see some retirees' names on that list.
We're trying.
We have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you very much. And finally, subject D, January board transfers for 2022-23 school year. As you see, the January board transfers for this year, total transfers requested are 8. Transfers recommending board approval are 8. Transfers not recommending board approval 0, for a total of 1,534. Transfers for vote 0, the total transfers for vote varied. Ask for a motion to approve human resources services used on customer action items January board transfers for 2022-23 as presented this evening.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the usual and customary action items as it relates to our January transfers for 22 and 23 as presented?
I move that we approve the transfers.
Is there a
I second
second?
that.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Griffin. Next, this is for Dr. Katrina McAllen, Assistant Superintendent for Educational Program Services.
Good evening, Chairman Pennell, Vice Chair Becker, members of the school board, and Dr. Phipps. This evening, I bring for your approval the Caldwell County Schools Summer Program for 2023. So each year, the Department of Public Instruction allows us to submit a plan, but it must have board approval for us to do a summer program, which means that we can remediate students who do not score proficient on end of course or end of grade tests. So we remediate them for a period of time, and then we offer them the opportunity to retest to hopefully score a 3, 4, 5 so that they can be counted as proficient for a school. So for this school year, our proposed plan is for on the schools on the traditional calendar to remediate June 5th through the 7th and then retest on June 8th and 9th. And for our early calendar schools to remediate May 22nd through the 24th with retesting on May 25th and 26th. And again, we have to submit this plan, and then it'll be up to the school to decide whether they're participating and inform students and parents of what is happening at each location. So this evening, I respectfully request approval for the Caldwell County Schools Summer Program of 2023.
Do I hear a motion that we approve Caldwell County Schools 2023 Summer Program as presented by Dr. McAllen?
I move that we approve that summer school program.
Is there a second?
Second.
Anybody have any questions, comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Dr. McAllen. Next is our Chief Financial Officer, Assistant Superintendent, Mr. David Johnson.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, board members, and Dr. Pitts. Tonight, two budget amendments tonight that are going to be approval for the state public school fund. It's an increase in the amount of $604,119. Seeing the explanation, it includes allocation adjustments due to our ADM drop that I covered in the work session, as well as some additional allotments that we will receive at the beginning of the year. Budget amendment number 5 is for the federal grants of $446,316. Total budget, these two members approved Caldwell County Schools, $155,287,749.26.
Do I hear a motion that we approve Amendment 4, State Public School Fund, as well as Amendment 5, Federal Grant Fund, as presented?
Chairman Kendall, I move that we approve the budget amendments number 4 and 5 as presented by Mr. Johnson.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments?
Number 4 was a loss, is that correct? We lost ADM money, is that
We
right?
did lose ADM money, but it was a total net increase of $600,000.
Still had to, okay.
You can see we received additional money for student technology, SRO, safety grants, behavioral support, developmental day funds, mobile coding grants. There were some other changes in the program directive request. Overall, it was a net increase, but it did reflect the almost $1 million decrease in ADM funded to the core elements.
Any other questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Next, I'd like to recognize our Superintendent, Dr. Don Pitts.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have two items. Item 11A is a request for the 2023-24 traditional calendar, and the same for the Applied Sciences Academy and Early College High School calendar to be posted for the period for public comment. After we do that, I'd like to make a couple comments about what we're looking at and some changes that are there. But this time, I'd like to respectfully request that the calendars be put up for public comment.
Do I hear a motion that we place the 2023-24 traditional calendar as well as the Caldwell Applied Science Academy and the Early College High School calendars for public comment?
I'll make the motion, Mr. Chairman, that we place the traditional school calendar and the early college and CASA calendars up for public comments.
Is there a second?
Second motion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstain.
Okay, motion passes.
Make a couple of comments if I could. We have talked about school calendar and what our board and feedback that we've gotten from parents, from teachers, from staff members about where our calendar needs to be and the restrictions that we have. It's an issue primarily at the high school level when we talk about instructional time and you look at how the semesters break out, where there's some years as much as a 20 to 30 day difference between semester 1 and semester 2. So with that in mind and looking at what options we had available, the board directed me to work with our staff members to create an academic calendar that has the first day for students' return next year to be August the 14th. And that means that we're starting 2 weeks early. But what that means is that we're able to, number one, balance semesters much closer. There'll be a 4-day difference instead of a 20-some day difference between semester 1 and 2. It also helps ensure that we're on a consistent calendar along with the community college, which is very important. The other thing that I think is just as important as anything that I could mention is by starting earlier, it allows us to put some things in the calendar that are valuable to our staff members valuable to our students, valuable to members, our parents certainly. And two of those things are going to show up in the month of October and in the month of March. And we're designating 2 days in those months as the old traditional parent-teacher conference days, because we truly want to encourage that communication between parents and our teachers to get together and talk about where student progress is. It allows us to put some other professional development days. Some of those will be dictated in terms of what's required by the county office. Some of those will be left up at the building level, administrator's portion. And we're also trying to make sure that we're not putting as many days at the beginning and ending of the year. We can sprinkle those in during the school year to allow us to have some breaks and do some things. So we feel like it's a much better calendar. By starting on the 14th, we're able to get out the week before Memorial Day. We're not sure exactly where that day will be yet, and the reason that I say that is there's a process that we go through where we invite feedback, certainly from the public, and we've done that today by putting this up for public comment. But we also want to talk with our faculty and staff members. We want to talk to our parent representatives and as many stakeholder groups as we can, and we'll put out a draft calendar and then ask for their feedback. So if you take a look at what's on our board docs paperwork section tonight, the calendar probably won't look exactly like that when it's finished, but it'll be very close to that. So we have to have a starting point to be able to get feedback from individuals. So we certainly have to include things like annual leave days and opportunities for teachers to take accumulated leave, and the state holidays that are paid are certainly in the calendar. But we feel like when you take a look at it, the calendar that we're proposing is a much better calendar for our educators and a much better calendar for our students. And we're proud of what it looks like now. I feel sure that when we get feedback from our stakeholder groups, it'll be even better. But there'll be a month-long period where folks will have a chance to weigh in and give us some opinions. So I encourage you to take a look at that. If you compare it to the early college and the CASA calendar, their calendar looks like it has in the past, because they're working under a different set of guidelines. And what we're doing is more in alignment with what they've been doing, which is where we wanted to be. So if you take a look at that, they're up there for public comment as well. Item 11B is board policy revision. It's board policy 4130. This is discretionary admission policy. For those of you that aren't up to date and knowledgeable on policies, this primarily deals with admission into the Caldwell County schools for individuals that live outside of our attendance area, outside of our county. And we had this up at one point with the other policies. We've got some additional feedback that we want to make sure that we can take in and consider before we do any approvals. So I'm asking tonight for this policy to be put back up again for a public comment period to allow us to continue to receive feedback before we ask for any action.
Do I hear a motion that we put policy 4130, which is discretionary admission policy, out for public comment?
Chairman, I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion passes. Anything else, Dr. Phipps? Thank you for being here tonight. We appreciate your attendance, and that being said, do I hear a motion we adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. We are adjourned. Everybody have a great evening.